Hey guys, it's Matty, and would you look at this? It's a Saxo video. Been a while since we've done one of them, isn't it? So just to keep you in the loop, the Peugeot 205 project, the videos on that are on pause at the minute. We'll pick up on that later in the year. But for now, we're going to bring some much needed Saxo content. So 3 years of ownership, 1 year since the last update, and 91,000 miles on the clock. It's safe to say I am still madly, truly, deeply in love with this car, and I think she's a little cracker. She's still running like an absolute dream at the minute. She's just sailed through her MOT, passed with no advisories. She's been serviced on interval, but she's actually about to go into hibernation, and there's a very good reason for that, which we'll come on to later on. So there's a reason to keep watching the video, improve my analytics, and if you're not subscribed already, then subscribe. Now, I'm not going to be changing the slave cylinder or anything like that, because I'm no mechanic as much as I'd like to be. But as it says in my bio, car content should be comical, and I try my best. So, with that said, I'm hoping to bring some really good content on this car and loads of other great content later in the year. I'm really selling the channel to you, aren't I? Subscribe.
Hello all my fans on the YouTube and the Facebook.
Now, January to April last year in the Saxo were 4 very happy months of motoring. When you own an old car, you've kind of got to nip things in the bud straight away when you know they need doing, otherwise things just build up, and also you've got the risk of something unexpected happening and that just tipping you over the edge financially and in the fact that you won't have a car. So, with that said, I knew that the catalytic converter was due on the Saxo, and she was booked in to have it done in April. Great. What I didn't know, though, was that the exhaust, which at the time had only been done 2 years ago, was about to snap off. And if you've watched my 205 content, you'll have seen on the recent video on that in the same week that the Saxo exhaust snapped off, the 205 exhaust also snapped off. Honestly, it's like me Saxo and me 205 were talking to each other.
Hey, Saxo, you fancy a bit of the, how you say, furlough?
Oui, 205. What did you have in mind? I've been doing all of the miles while you've been sitting here looking all magnifique.
Saxo, come here. You snap my baguette, and I will snap yours.
Tais-toi, you. I don't see you that way.
So yeah, when the Saxo went in to get its cat done, it also got its exhaust back box and exhaust brackets and screws done as well. Everything had just sort of rusted away, so that got done at considerable cost, but a reasonable cost for everything that was getting done. That work was carried out by SS Motors, who I will always shout out because they're such great Citroen specialists, and they'll often give you a lot of sound advice for free, as in, shut up Matty, you can do that yourself, bugger off and go and do it. So we move on to the summertime, where the Saxo was about to embark on her biggest adventure yet. We were going to Ascot, which is, as near as makes no difference, London, all the way from Liverpool, down south. And there's a video about that, all about the road trip and visiting the Grantine and everything like that, coming on the channel later in the year. We were very excited. The boot was packed, the sun cream was applied because it's very hot down south, isn't it? And my Saxo is quite light-skinned, so best to be on the safe side. But just one day before we were due to go on our adventure, my lovely Citroen Saxo was rammed up the arse end by a Vauxhall Corsa driven by a middle-aged woman called Susan. The Corsa, finito. Great, one less than on the road. But the Saxo... Oh look, I seem to be wearing completely different clothes. Anyway, because of where Susan had hit, which was here on the toe eye of my car, she'd sent all the impact down this metal impact bar, causing very little damage to my lovely Citroen Saxo, but subsequently obliterating the front end of her Vauxhall Corsa. Serves you right for crashing into me, you cheeky bitch. Anyway, and while we're on damage, after I came back from my trip from Ascot, someone had scuffed my bumper here, didn't even leave a note, fucking rats. And also, we've also had a careless pedestrian break the clips in my mirror, so I need to either get some self-tappers or just do what I've done here, which is duct tape it back up. So yes, the Saxo is in need of some tender loving care. And finally, we come to the Saxo's breakdown. Yes, she broke down for the first time ever in my ownership. I mean, I know it's been a tough couple of years, but come on, love, pull yourself together. Hopefully she doesn't get wind of what's going on in Ukraine. It might tip her over the edge. But once again, with the breakdown, you will have to wait for a future video because there's so much great content coming up on the Saxo. To end off the video, we come to the elephant in the room, and that is the Saxo coming off the road. Why is that? Well, it's a difficult one, but when you own an old car and it's one that you want to basically have forever and you never ever want to get rid of, you have to come to a decision at some point about how much you're going to use it, and especially if you're dailying the car, whether that is sustainable. And right now, yes, it is sustainable for this car. If I keep doing 10,000 miles a year, then I'm just going to shorten and shorten and shorten the amount of time that this car is on the road. And yeah, I know it's as long as it is short, and it is going to come off the road one day for good. But I think right now, while I've had an opportunity, which you'll hear about in a future video, the Saxo is going to go into hibernation, and I have acquired a new car to daily just for 6 months while we give the Saxo a bit of a rest, and also show a little bit of love to the damage at the back as well, and the mirror, and everything else that we might want to do to this car. So, my new daily driver, what is it? Well, it is dark green, and it is automatic transmission, but it's not a Peugeot 205, and it's not French. So what do you think it is? Leave a comment below. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Saves you right for crashing into me, you cheeky bitch.